watching ABC's Wide World of Sports.
No changes in the IROC at California Speedway. Mark Martin moves up from the last row, now sits in front of the field, followed by the two Labanis. Al Unser Jr. still sits at mid-pack, trying to find room to get up and contest and score points in his ongoing battle for the IROC Championship with Mark Martin. Dale Earnhardt sits well back in the field, currently running in 9th place.
Today, Dale Earnhardt is fighting the flu bug. For some concern, he might not be able to finish the 100-mile IROC race today. He feels that badly. We can see now we have 6 cars almost hooked up nose to tail. This is the lead pack. It's Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, and Bobby Labonte takes a look.
Bobby Labonte drops down a little to the left, to the inside of Mark Martin. And I'm assuming that when you do that here, it's going to unsettle Martin pretty bad.
I would think so. There we see that group of cars led by Al Unser Jr., the white car.
Well, that group's going to want to do some racing. The second pack there with Al Unser Jr. out in front. Right now, they're losing contact. You should try to catch up to that dark green car. It's Jeff Gordon. It's the end of the lead group. That's not all that much of an interval.
No, it's not. Jimmy Basser is the last car in this group. He is running in the 10th spot. Right along with Jeff Gordon, who is currently in the 6th spot. That's Tommy Kimmel, the light blue, Pontiac Firebird right in front of him.
Because running 10th right now, remember that marvelous run that he put on at Charlotte, where he really came in early, studied the track, studied how to start, and really the only thing that damaged that run was the fact that his own IndyCar teammate, Alex Zanardi, crushed the wall and closed the field up at the end and allowed them to close up on him and get around him. But here, Vassar's got some problems back at the front. A little tighter.
I think those Labonte boys, Bobby and Terry, just sitting there waiting for time to slip by, hoping they can stay in line and stay in front of this lead group. Hey, if you're going to race cars, you might as well race 6 instead of 10 or 12. Right now, they've only got a few cars to race with. There we see Bobby Labonte, silver car, Terry Labonte, the orange car.
Family men are here trying to chase down Mark Martin. I wonder if they're all wondering about their tires.
They could be concerned about them because, again, this is an unknown. Brand new racetrack. No one knows exactly what's going to happen until we run races on it.
I mean, how do the tires talk to the drivers? How will they know whether they're going?
When they go into turns, they got to turn the wheel hard to the left to make the car go to the left. When it slides across the racetrack, does not want to grip the racetrack, that's telling the driver the tire is worn out. See, watch as Al Unser Jr. goes down the corner. See, he turns the wheel as he gets in the corner. And the car will go to the left, right down to the white line. If he goes to the corner later on in the race and the car will not go to the white line and slides across the racetrack, that tells him the right front tire is worn.
You know, every time I see an onboard camera like that and a driver like Al Unser Jr., the fact that they're so gentle with the wheel and car always impresses me, and I've been doing this a long time. Here's Jackaroo.
Benny, you were talking about the tires and how you can tell when a tire goes away when we're on board of Al Unser Jr.'s car. You told about how when he turned the wheel and the car starts to slide. The tire that really takes a beating is the right front tire. As it begins to not only wear down but heat up, you will lose grip. Now, you'll hear drivers talk about trying to save their tires. What they will do when they go into the corner, when they feel the car starting to slide, they'll, as we say, let the car have its head. It'll be a different lane and a different line through the corner. But what it in essence does is get some of the heat off of this right front. Doesn't wear the tire out, but makes it a little cooler and a little more effective.
Well, Mark Martin continues to lead, followed by Labonte and Labonte. The sun setting here in California could be a factor before the day's over.
Robin Roberts back with you here in New York. In just a minute, we will return to the International Race of Champions, IROC, which was recorded back on June 21st. But first, don't forget, next week on Wide World, Vincent Phillips defends his IBF Junior welterweight title for the first time against Mickey Ward live from Boston. as the Valvoline Professional Boxing Series continues with 12 rounds of championship action, so you want to be sure to join us for that. Earlier today here on ABC, you saw the 4th ever Brickyard 400. The stories of the race were late yellow flags and fuel management. Don't want to run out of gas. Ricky Rudd won the closest finish since the inaugural race back in 1994. For more, let's join Bob Jenkins at the Brickyard.
Well, Robin, a young man who learned to drive a go-kart in Chesapeake, Virginia, has won the 4th running of the Brickyard 400 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Ricky Rudd. There were 11 different leaders and 19 lead changes. Benny, what was the critical moment?
Had to be the caution flags. 2 late caution flags. 4 drivers gambled on making it on fuel, and 2 cautions allowed them to do that. The first, Robbie Gordon crashes. NASCAR had to throw the caution to clean up debris. And then Rich Bickle going in turn 3, loses control and backs on the fence, and just listen. Hard contact. You're able to clear the debris. 3 laps to go through the green flag. Ricky Rudd stayed there for the victory.
And Dr. Jerry Punch has a story of the guy who finished 2nd in today's race.
How truly appropriate that Bobby Labonte, who drives for former Washington Redskins coach Joe Gibbs, used strategy today as opposed to speed to finish 2nd at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He ran the last 46 laps, 115 miles without a fuel stop. He said if we had to use our muscle, we'd have finished maybe 15th or 16th. But using our mind, we finished 2nd.
Well, you'll never forget who won the 1997 Brickyard 400, but I'll always remember who lost it. Jeff Burton had the talent and the car that had the capability of sending him to victory lane today. But a flat right rear cost him the win. Then a speeding penalty down pit road took him out of contention, and a disappointing finish. There'll be more races for Jeff Burton here at the Brickyard, but I'll always have to answer this question. Will I ever get that close again? Jackaroot?
When Ricky Rudd first came to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he was at 12 years of age, and he took a tour right out here on the Speedway. Little did he know that he would come back several decades later and go right there to victory lane. But he did that today, and the way he did it was with fuel conservation. With about 30 to 40 laps to go, his crew gambled. He backed off the throttle, saved fuel, and he came home victorious in the 4th Brickyard 400. Bob?
There's a look at the unofficial standings. Dale Jarrett finished in 3rd position, Jeff Gordon 4th, Jeremy Mayfield 5th, completing the top 10, Mark Martin, Johnny Benson, Bill Elliott, Mike Skinner, and Ernie Irvin. That's the story of the 4th Brickyard 400. Ricky Rudd has won it. Back to you, Robin.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. An exciting race. As we said, auto racing rules here on ABC today, so let's return to the 3rd race of the International Race of Champions Series. We'll rejoin Paul Page for the battle brewing between leaders Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte.
20 laps complete in the IROC, and Tommy Kendall looks like he wants to make a move. The front 3 remain unchanged, but Kendall, with a little help from Jeff Gordon, drops down to the inside. LaJoie is up high. Kendall came up alongside Gordon a few seconds ago, and they hooked up, and now Kendall's taken off and set his sights on the front 3.
And here goes Jeff Gordon. He's trying to take a look at Tommy Kendall. Down to the inside. This is going in turn 3. We can see the lead trio right directly in front of them. And here comes LaJoie back on the inside of Kendall.
You know, with them starting 8 Winston Cup drivers here in this run, it's pretty hard for a guy like Kendall to really find somebody to race with. He's only one from his discipline of road racing in the field. Look at this. Labonte's finally looked for some room. Mark Martin sits way high on the racetrack, and Bobby Labonte comes by.
And Mark Martin slides in between the Labonte brothers.
Was that deliberate? Does he maybe want to be in 2nd place here? Cool the tires down a little, run there?
Could very well be. Look back here, Al Unser Jr. now. We saw those cars battling for that 4th spot. Well, that allowed Al Unser Jr. to catch these cars. He's right on the back bumper now from Randy LaJoie. This is Al Jr. in the white car, LaJoie in the lime car.
And maybe in the person of Al Unser Jr., Tommy Kendall will find a friend. Certainly little Al would like to get up there. He doesn't necessarily want nor need to help Randy LaJoie, but maybe he could hook up with Tommy Kendall.
And we can see now why these cars are running in line and not passing that much, because as these cars tried to pass, we saw LaJoie make that move a moment ago. We could see how much position he lost on the racetrack, probably about half the backstretch.
Top 3 still run together. Mark Martin in the hammock now between the 2 Labontes. help him come up to the front. Right now, he's being pursued by Dale Jarrett. Maybe they can get to work at the back and make something out of this. Mark Martin, in his early run in the lead, led 16 laps. Remember, there are extra points in the IROC for leading laps.
It looks to me like Jeff Gordon, Tommy Kendall, Randall DeJoy are gaining on this lead trio.
No question about that. Well, look at the variety of lines, though, coming into that corner. Looking at the back of Jeff Gordon's car, Tommy Kendall, Randy LaJoy just behind him. Seems like this group has now become more willing to experiment.
I think they are, because I think they can learn things by experimenting. But if they experiment too much and get too far behind, then how do they catch back up without the aid of a caution flag? And only 11 cars on the racetrack. Cautions are very rare in the IROC series.
Well, in the IROC, the laps under yellow don't count, so we've just crossed the halfway point with Bobby Labonte in that silver car number 3 as the leader of the race. He, of course, is substituting for the injured Robbie Gordon. He's followed by Mark Martin and by Terry Labonte. Only 2 incidents thus far. Tommy Kendall drops low. But Gordon, boy, take a look at Jeff. Kind of slingshots off that corner now.
He dove down to the inside, blocked Kendall's momentum. Tommy Kendall feels like he has a very good race car. He can lead this group faster, but Jeff Gordon says, oh, I think that's wrong. I think I can lead this group faster.
Jeff Gordon, the dark green car, now sits in 4th. Kendall comes up right behind him as LaJoy, the line car, tries the same kind of maneuver, getting up high. Well, while at the front of the field, it's Winston Cup drivers Labonte, Martin Labonte, and Jeff Gordon. Tommy Kendall from the Trans Am Series is looking strong in 5th. We'll be right back.